a horror flick, and that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
that is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's called
What
Chamber
what
at. Now it's like post-production. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like the first feature I did, and yeah, like a supporting lead role. And I don't know, I'm buried alive, and then I get killed, and then I come back as like a demon, and there's like there's a lot of stuff going on. So
How do you do the buried alive scene? That's one of my biggest fears. I don't know why. Probably because I see all these movies where people get buried alive, and I think that could happen to anyone. And I go, oh, don't do that to me. Uh,
you know what? I don't know. It's one of those things as an actor, you just like Sophie, like Sophie Ann Rooney.
Sophie Ann Rooney. She is a delight.
Yeah. She has like an exercise that she does in her class where you are buried alive.
Oh,
Um,
no, I have not done this exercise. This is terrifying. And tell me what class to not take where this is an exercise. No, thank you. Oh,
she's done it before. So before, like when I was kind of preparing for this role and preparing to do it, I reached out to her for like some private coaching and asked if we could do the exercise. And, it was really cool because, I wanted to do it kind of like in my apartment via Zoom. And we kind of just like chatted about it. She's like, honestly, you should just like rent a space that we could do this in. So everything's kind of, I guess everything's still COVID, whatever, at the time. But then I rented a space, it's called the Playhouse. I don't know, somewhere in Toronto,
oh.
um, or the Clubhouse. Anyways, I went and did it, and she kind of coached me through it via Zoom. There's this buried alive exercise. Yeah, just the feeling of like being trapped, trying to get out, screaming, accepting that you're there, not being able to breathe. Um, yeah, and like really like let loose and kind of really broke some ground with that. Um, and I wouldn't have been able to do it in my apartment because you're kind of like, I don't know if you get this,
Yeah.
like if you're ever doing like a self tape or something or whatever, you're like there, but you're also like, oh, people can like hear me everywhere. You know what I mean? It's hard to like
Yeah.
get rid of all like the noise. Um, but yeah, she like really helped me get to some dark places with that, which was cool. And I think that really helped me in the scene. Um, yeah.
Where's the camera when you're getting buried alive?
Well, it was like different shots. One shot that we
Like, is
did, there
there
was,
one that's in the coffin with you? You know, that kind
yeah,
of,
it
or not
was.
coffin, even just, in the, I'm picturing dirt. I don't know why I thought coffin right away. I feel like you wouldn't have a coffin.
Yeah, it was a coffin. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. They throw you
Yeah.
in the coffin. Oh, that's like right in your face.
Yeah, it was. So, yeah, it was like coffin. I can't remember. They did like different camera angles because I was interacting with this guy too. Like the lead, he's like, um, put me in the coffin. So I'm like yelling, like, fuck you, you fucking, and then I'm banging on the coffin as
The
it's,
classic Hallmark movie. Got it.
yeah. And then it's like banging on the coffin as it's getting closed. And then inside of it, I like noticed like the thing, like something on like, it's kind of like being scared in the coffin and that stuff. So,
Well, that's terrifying. Where can we see this lovely film?
yeah, it's gonna, I don't know. Like if probably 6 months.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting. You advertise accordingly. There you go.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, for sure.
But here's what's so weird because when you do a horror film or you get killed or in your case become a zombie, uh, it's weird when you take your family to see something like that. I know when I did a horror film and I'm slowly getting killed and my family has to watch me yell and plead for my life, and it goes, it's a little uncomfortable. It's a little no thank you, right? And I mean, from an actor perspective, it's great because my family's so sad and invested. They think I'm actually dead, even though I'm sitting next to them while we watch it.
Right.
But it's also really weird to see your family member go through that. I think that's how I feel. So I don't know if you feel the same way.
Totally. I think it's one of those things. I don't know. I remember I showed my family like a monologue I did, and there was like a lot of swearing or whatever. And it was like, I guess I placed in the Monologue Slam. somewhere in there.
Sorry, my brother wrote that was my favorite Robin scene. Thanks, Adam.
Uh,
I didn't even know he was still watching this. That's really funny. Oh God. Okay, as you were, Monologue Slam.
but
Oh yeah, you won a Monologue Slam a while back. Well done.
yeah, yeah. Once upon a time with Victoria Krisher. Yeah, we did a scene that was really cool. Yeah, but
That was in person. Those are intense. You see your competition and then you have to go. Versus here, you send out a self tape. Here's my monologue.
it's kind of yeah, it's kind of made it easier because yeah, being in person, especially, there's such a different vibe to it, right? Like when you're doing it, but like, man, the first few times I did it, just like terrified. You know what I mean? Like just like, I
Yeah.
remember like I would always go and sit and watch the shows, right? Like the monologue slams. And I remember this one girl, I just kind of, I didn't really, I guess I kind of knew her, but she was like, "Oh, are you gonna go do it?" And I was like, "Oh." She's like, "Oh," it's like that's crazy. Like, no. And then she's like, "Oh no, you should, next time just do it." I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." Like, eventually I got there, right? But it was just kind of funny. Her like that mentality of like, yeah, you should just do it. Like it was nothing to her, and I was like, oh, fuck. But
Well, the thing is, though, when you do it, though, you go, oh, yeah, okay, I tried, whatever. I mean, how many people are here? Versus, I find, like, that's the difference I find. When I would do the monologue slam in person, it was okay, it's whoever's in the room is seeing this. If it goes good, great. If not, that's unfortunate. But now it's okay, I'm sending out, I can film it privately, do my takes, but then everyone can see it. It's not just the 50, maybe 100 people that were in that space. It's a lot more people now, and you go, ah, I don't know if I like that enough to submit it, but it's out there and it's online and it's so accessible. So that's the part that I'm go, and sometimes makes me think maybe I shouldn't submit this round, but I still do.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I've done that. Like, full disclosure, I even like placed in one, but then I was like, I don't know, and then I like took it off my Instagram, but I did well. I want to say though,
Wow.
Derek says missed the slam.
Oh yes,
Uh,
Derek. Oh, I know Derek.
I want to say Derek was actually inspired me to be an actor. I've told him the story a million times, but I would like go and watch like the slams or Sophie's classes, and Derek did this Batman monologue at this thing called the Show in Toronto, and yeah, that really just hit me like deep. I was like, I don't know. I just thought he was he's still such a good fucking actor, but I was like so inspired. I was like, man, if I could do that one day, and then so I was always kind of a spectator, like for like a year almost before, like I didn't really even call myself an actor for so long. I just kind of like under the ground, like kind of like watch shows, plays, that kind of stuff. But yeah, the first time I met Derek, actually, hey buddy, I was like I was like fanboying him a little bit.
Classic.
We're at the Fringe, and I was like, "Oh man, I like saw you do this thing." He's like, "Oh, cool, man." And I was like, and then we became friends after that. But it was just funny, right?
But I love this is why I love this story so much because for people that are just acting and doing their thing and they don't know who's watching or seeing anything, for you to come up to Derek and say that, it's so I don't know if I was Derek, I'd be like, oh my God, you see my stuff? I just do it because I like doing it. Thanks for watching. I just it's such an interesting being on both sides of the table. You go, oh, cool. Let's be friends now because I appreciate that you appreciate my work. So cool. I
I
love
think,
that story.
yeah, and I think that's like, I don't know, one of like the most, I guess, proudest moments I've ever had as an actor has been. It's funny because it is all about like supporting each other and inspiring each other. And one of the proudest moments I ever had was actually I had placed in the Monologue Slam, and this was like last year sometime, and I put a video out from Crazy Stupid Love. I did kind of like a role reversal of um, Emma Stone's part where she's like about to sleep with the guy. I just did her part where I'm like,
That's
oh
hilarious.
yeah, it's a guy for sure. Whatever. I don't know. But then my agent reached out to me and she goes, yeah, my son or no, her daughter said like she had my little video and she was like showing her and she was like saying how like inspired and how amazing it was and that she was like,
Oh, this is so dramatic. What did she say?
no, she just saying like she was like super inspired by the work and she was like thinking that I was like the greatest actor and that she could never do that. And she was like, well, he's been doing it for longer than you have and no. And I don't know, just like I was like, man, some like 12-year-old girl like watched my thing and thought it was awesome. I don't know. That was like the most.
I love that.
That was like
No,
my.
it's no, it's so weird.
So it was
But
like,
it's so nice to hear that though, right? You
yeah,
never know who you're affecting. So keep creating. That's very motivating.
yeah, it was. It was really sweet because I was like, man, it's like it's true because it's like I don't know, it's taken me like a couple of years to like get to that point to do something like that, but I don't know.